So here we're just looking to do some practice and get used to the idea of drawing these Newman projections. In each case, what I'm looking for is for you to draw the most stable conformation. And so what the most stable conformation should always involve is, we're going to be looking down the carbon-carbon bond. Again, because this is the most stable conformation, it's going to be a staggered conformation. And finally, it's going to be a staggered conformation where the two largest groups are going to be as far away from each other as possible. So this first one is pretty straightforward. Keep in mind, it doesn't matter if we draw it from this perspective or from this perspective. Both carbons, in addition to being attached to each other, are attached. One is attached to an iodine, one is attached to a hydroxyl group. And those other groups, the hydroxyl and the iodine, are clearly the largest groups because we're comparing to hydrogen, and hydrogen is, of course, small. So we're going to arrange this so that those two largest groups, the iodine and the alcohol, are as far away from each other as possible, and the remaining groups will be the hydrogens. Now in question 2, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. And the reason it's going to be more complicated is on one side we just have the methyl group. So that's straightforward. We know that's the largest group. But on the other side we have two non-hydrogens, a bromine and a chlorine. Which one's larger? Well, if you look at your periodic table, you know that the further we go down the periodic table, the larger the element is. Bromine is found below chlorine, so bromine is the larger element, and that's the one we're going to want to make sure is as far away from the methyl group as possible. Number 3 is actually simpler. It's, the methyl and the bromine are what need to be kept apart. And number 4, each carbon has a methyl group and each carbon has a halogen. Now which one's bigger? Iodine is clearly larger than carbon, but we're not just dealing with a carbon. We have a methyl group, which is multiple atoms. So in both cases, the methyl group is what's going to be larger. And again, that's because it's multiple atoms as opposed to just a single atom.